It seems like the company is on the verge of bankruptcy. Well, that sounds tough. Why did our performance suddenly get so bad? We were the ones managing it. It's too much for you. Excuse me, we. Do you know who's been handling your company's finances until now? Well, it's obviously our employees. That was only at the beginning. What do you mean? My name is Sarah. I'm 52 years old. I'm a housewife. Before getting married, I worked at a bank. I live with my husband Ben, my mother-in-law, and our 3 lovely daughters. Since I married young, my eldest daughter, already a working professional, and my second and third daughters are in college. Ben inherited the company from his late father and runs it. He was very kind and attentive while we were dating, but he changed completely right after we got married. Well, maybe that was his true nature. It was probably about 3 months after we got married. Hey, I told you to iron my shirts. I'm sorry, the morning sickness has been really bad. I can't move as I want to. Listen, pregnancy is not an illness. Don't be so spoiled. I'll do it right away. What a useless wife. Right after getting married, I found out I was pregnant with my eldest daughter and couldn't do much due to severe morning sickness. Far from being concerned, Ben started to berate me for not doing enough housework. Around this time, my mother-in-law, who was living with us, was very quiet, spoke little, and was completely under Ben's thumb. She would never stand up for me and pretended not to see when I was being berated. Mom, it's because you spoil her that we have such a lazy daughter-in-law. Yes, Sarah, please try to do your chores more thoroughly. Yes, I'm sorry. This was the daily routine, with Ben pointing out faults and my mother-in-law following his lead in admonishing me. After giving birth to my eldest daughter, Ben's verbal abuse didn't stop. It got even worse. Even when I was pregnant with my second and third daughters, suffering from morning sickness, or when I was too big to move, he forced me to do housework and carry heavy things, saying not to use pregnancy as an excuse. Especially when he was in a bad mood, he would sometimes throw things at me. I thought about divorcing him many times because life was too hard, but the thought of raising 3 small children alone while working and the worry that they might be bullied at school for not having a father made me endure it. And now, with the children grown up, Ben wanted a son to be his successor, but we only had daughters. He never showed any affection to the daughters just because they weren't sons. And he constantly complained about the daughter's lifestyle. Hey, did you buy new clothes again? I earned it myself from my part-time job. If you have the luxury to dress up, contribute money to the house. They're college students, of course, they want to dress up, let them do what they want. Shut up, don't you act all high and mighty, being an unemployed bum. I've told you many times, I'm a remote worker, not unemployed, and I do contribute to the household. What remote worker? Trying to sugarcoat it with modern terms, really, all my daughters are so cheeky. Melissa works in IT from home. Melissa, unlike me, who can talk back to Ben, contributes more than enough to the household and is very family-oriented, responsible, and able to voice her own opinions. Ben doesn't recognize the hard work of our responsible eldest, nor our second and third daughters who are diligently pursuing their dreams through their studies. From a young age, the daughters disliked Ben. Ben's complaints about the daughters don't stop there. He lectures them for wearing makeup, going out with friends, and accuses them of just playing around instead of working. His attitude towards the mother-in-law remains the same. Mom, don't just keep quiet, say something. It seems like I'm the only one who notices the family's sloppiness. You all need to be more careful with money. The mother-in-law is actually quite supportive when Ben isn't around, so honestly, my relationship with her and the daughters isn't bad. Initially, I was frustrated with the mother-in-law's indecisiveness, but after living together for many years, I now understand. It's distressing to see her being treated harshly even by her own son. One morning at breakfast, the whole family was gathered at the table. But Ben was in an especially bad mood today. What's this miso soup? It's tasteless. Your recent medical checkup showed slightly high blood pressure, so I reduced the salt. Don't talk back to me. Mom's trying to take care of Dad's health. That's uncalled for. Don't butt in, you unemployed daughter. With that, Ben flew into a rage and threw the miso soup bowl. It flew towards Melissa, hitting her forehead and splashing her with soup. Melissa. I immediately took Melissa to the hospital. Luckily, there were no injuries or burns, just some ointment was needed, but an unprecedented anger towards Ben was rising within me. After returning home from the hospital. Are you okay, sis? You won't have any scars on your face, right? The doctor said it's fine, so don't worry. The sisters were concerned for Melissa, and even Ben seemed a bit guilty, but then he said something unbelievable to Melissa. It's your fault for not dodging. I was shocked by his words. Enough is enough. Huh. I've reached my limit. I want a divorce. Fine by me. I've had it with your terrible cooking anyway. Let's divorce. With that, I pulled out the divorce papers I'd kept like a talisman and had only filled in my part and thrust them at Ben. Sign these divorce papers right now. Fine, but you know, a housewife like you won't be able to make a living after a divorce. Haga, good luck with that. We'll see about that. You're the one who's going to have a tough time. Good luck. Don't get cocky. Haga, this marks the end of our married life. What a relief. Ben signed the divorce papers right there. Go, and take the 3 kids with you. I'll take the house and the car as alimony. Haga. Alimony, all right, I understand. A few days later, the daughters and I packed our things and decided to return to my parents' home. I could endure the violence towards myself as long as I bore it. But this time, seeing my daughter get hurt, my patience reached its limit, and I finally decided to divorce. Upon returning to my parents' home, my mom and dad warmly welcomed us. I had never told them about Ben's true nature, not wanting to worry them since our marriage. But now I told them everything about what had happened up to now and this time. My parents were a bit stern, asking why I didn't come back sooner, but they comforted me, saying I did well to endure until now. For the first time in a long while, I felt truly relieved and shed tears. Hours had passed since we returned home. Mom, sorry to bother you right after moving in, but is it okay? Of course, what's up? Actually, it's about my job. I'm thinking of quitting remote work. And that means exactly what you're thinking. This whole thing with Dad was really tough. But now that we're living at your parents' place, I think it's a good time. You don't have to worry about that house anymore. You can do whatever you like, Melissa. Thanks, he's still my dad after all, so I wanted to consult with you. Despite being exhausted from submitting the divorce papers and moving in just a few days, hearing Melissa's positive plans about her job brought me peace. 3 months after moving back to my parents' house, I started working from home, utilizing the qualifications I diligently earned during my time as a housewife. After finishing my morning tasks, I sat down on the sofa and opened my smartphone, only to find over 100 missed calls. Thanks to Melissa's suggestion, I had a separate phone for work, so I generally didn't check my personal phone during work hours. But this number of missed calls was unprecedented. Opening the details, I saw they were all from my ex-husband, Ben. I was taken aback by the barrage of calls, but I know why he calling. As I was staring at the screen, another call came in from Ben, so I reluctantly answered. Hello. Hey, Sarah, what the hell is going on? What do you mean what's going on? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. Ben was clearly agitated, and his tone was aggressive right from the start. The company seems to be on the brink of bankruptcy. Well, that sounds serious. Why did our performance suddenly tank? It was under our management. It's too much for you. What are? Do you even know who's been handling your company's finances until now? That would obviously be our employees. That was just at the beginning. What do you mean? At first, of course, the employees were handling the accounting, but when sales started to plummet, they came to me, concerned. But we've had deals since my dad's time. There's no way sales would drop. All the clients from your father's era have gone elsewhere, your mother-in-law. And I had to rack our brains to keep the company afloat. That's because incompetent employees lost those clients. What are you talking about? Your dismissive attitude towards our clients caused contracts to dwindle. The revenue wasn't nearly what you imagined. That's impossible. We barely avoided being in the red, but after deducting necessary expenses like taxes and salaries, there was hardly any savings left for the company. Yes, my husband, Penn, had absolutely no sense of business management and behaved at work just like he did at home. Because of this, the achievements built up by his father quickly crumbled, and my mother-in-law and I had to manage the company's finances behind the scenes to keep it alive. Ben was clearly dissatisfied with this revelation, but I continued. Moreover, the house, it's going to be seized if things continue like this. Well, that makes sense. I am going to lose our home. Why did it come to this? Maybe because you haven't been paying the mortgage. If you were handling the finances, you should have managed the mortgage too. Sorry, but your company's revenue couldn't cover the mortgage. Do you know who's been paying it? My mom. No, it's Melissa, whom you've been treating like a neat. What? You might not have listened, but Melissa is an entrepreneur. That's impossible, she's just a woman. Well, nowadays there are plenty of female entrepreneurs. Whatever, it can't be anything significant. Melissa started a venture company right after graduating college. It performed well from the first year. She wanted to get an office, but gave up after learning about the mortgage and registered our home as the office, paying the mortgage instead. Then why is it suddenly being seized? Because we left, the house is no longer registered as her office, and Melissa isn't paying for it anymore, right? Well, she can come back and use the house as an office again. Sorry, but Melissa has rented a proper office now and isn't working from home anymore. What's she doing making decisions like that? It's her company that she started. She has every right to do as she pleases. She should have consulted me, her father, first. You have some nerve saying that after she's been covering your mortgage for years. I'm their father, they owe me for raising them. Ben was half crazed and insistent, clearly desperate for help. His arguments only became more erratic. Then make Melissa take over my company and turn it around. Her company or her sisters could handle it. Both the second daughter and the third daughter have their own dreams, becoming a doctor and a lawyer. And they've already passed their respective exams. Please don't drag my daughters into this mess. Don't order me around, you're just a homemaker. I work, you know. What? I used my experience from banking and became a certified financial planner. What's that? Finance, whatever thing. I'm a finance professional now, consulting on money matters. In a way, I have you to thank for my current situation, haha. That's just a hobby, isn't it? Keep thinking that if you want. I'm under no obligation to explain to you. You've become quite arrogant. Just so you know, we have no intention of helping you at all. I quickly hung up the phone, and for a few days, there was no contact from Ben. However, a week later, yet again, I received a call from Ben. Hey, when are you going to pay the mortgage? It's in your name, so you should be the one paying. I got this house as alimony from you, so you should be paying the mortgage. That's just something you said on your own. Besides, I have no fault that requires me to pay you alimony. You destroyed our family. Oh, really? I think that was you. What? You had an affair with a woman from one of your business contacts, didn't you? How do you know that? It seems her husband is quite furious, so good luck paying that alimony. I had actually suspected Ben's affair right after our divorce. Honestly, I was so fed up with our past life that I didn't want to engage in a long, messy divorce battle. So I had no intention of demanding alimony or anything. However, the woman's husband was very angry and contacted me to confirm the facts. I informed him that I was already divorced and had no plans to sue, but he was free to do as he pleased. In the end, Ben was sued for alimony by the woman's husband, and with the mortgage on top, he had to take loans to make the payments. However, the company finally went bankrupt. The house was seized, and Ben lost his home. As for my mother-in-law, I had informed my brother-in-law about the situation when I decided to divorce. Hence, she was already living with her son and his wife, and was spared from Ben's misfortune. In fact, my mother-in-law had suffered from severe domestic abuse from her husband. Ben grew up to be a spitting image of his father, treating both his mother and me the same way. Despite being hurt by Ben's terrible treatment, my mother-in-law tried to support him because he was her son, no matter how badly he treated her. However, at the time of my divorce, she reached her limit. On the other hand, my brother-in-law, unlike Ben, grew up to be kind-hearted and had always been concerned about his mother living separately. The brother-in-law and his wife had been offering to live with the mother-in-law, but Ben wouldn't allow it, probably aiming for her inheritance. However, Ben's plans completely fell apart eventually. I kept in touch with my mother-in-law and the daughters, and during one of our talks, she shared her conversation with Ben. "Mom, help me, I've lost my house and I'm drowning in debt." "So it seems. Mom, you got a lot of Dad's inheritance, right? Give it to me." "Ben, I'm sorry, your father's inheritance has already been given to your younger brother, his wife, and the grandchildren while he was alive." "What? You're my child and I didn't want to abandon you, but your behavior over the years has been so awful that I can't see you as my son anymore." That's unbelievable. Ben, who had been counting on his mother-in-law's inheritance to solve his problems, ended up with only the company, as she had already gifted her assets to her younger son's family and the daughters. Ben received a disownment declaration from his mother-in-law, his last resort, and found himself completely out of options. Eventually, Ben's company went bankrupt. He now works as a part-timer in a factory, struggling to pay off his debts and living a lonely life in an apartment. As for me, I'm living happily with my parents and daughters at my family home. Spring is just around the corner, and my second daughter is about to start her residency as a doctor. And my third daughter is starting her career as a rookie lawyer. Melissa, my eldest, has finally got her own office, and with an expanding staff, her company's performance is on the rise. Seeing you working in such a wonderful office makes me so proud. I couldn't have come this far without you and Grandma. Really. You two were working so hard to turn the company around, remember? Yes, those were really tough times. Seeing you both, I wanted to become someone who can work hard for my family, so I started my company. I had no idea you saw us that way. And it was also to prove Dad wrong with his old-fashioned views on women, Haga. Well, that makes sense, but to grow the company this big, that's not something everyone can do. Guess I had a better sense for business than Dad, huh? Anyone can see that you've definitely outdone him, Militia, Haga. My daughters have been through a lot, but they've all grown into kind-hearted individuals who are very considerate of their mother. It's thanks to them that I was able to endure all this. My own work has taken off, and I'm now earning more than I did during my banking days, enjoying a comfortable life. During my marriage with Ben, I had to cut corners with our finances, couldn't afford anything I liked, and wasn't even allowed the freedom to shop or go out. Of course, I still avoid unnecessary expenses, but having the freedom to spend money and time certainly enriches life. I continue to keep in touch with my mother-in-law, who is peacefully living with my brother-in-law's family. After enduring years of domestic abuse from her husband and son, she's finally living a worry-free life, which is a great relief to me. My marriage life was full of hardships, but now, seeing my daughters lead successful lives is the greatest happiness.